everyone. Welcome back for day 18. Mr. Bubblywinks is back to join me, and today we are going to talk about some more poetic devices, including allusion and alliteration. So, alliteration is one you probably know and probably see all the time. It's when you're making a repetition of a sound. It can be part of a word, it can be a whole word, it can be it's basically just a rhythmic device that's really cool, and some examples of it include Birches by Robert Frost. When I see birches bend to left and right across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think of some boys been swinging on them. Been swinging doesn't bend them down to stay, as ice storms do. Often you must have seen them loaded with ice a sunny winter morning after rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored as the stir cracks and crazes their enamel. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust. Such heaps of broken glass to sweep away, you'd think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the withered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed so long for now they never right themselves. You may see their trunks arcing in the woods, years afterward, trailing their leaves on the ground, like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say, when the truth broke in, with all the matter of fact about the ice storm, I should prefer to have some boy bend them as he went out and in to fetch the cow, some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was with what he found himself, summer and winter, and could play alone. One by one he subdued his father's trees by riding them down over and over again until he took the stiffness out of them, and not one but hung limp, not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon, and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. He always kept his poise to the top branches, climbing beautifully with the same pains you use to fill a cup, up to the brim, and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a swish, kicking his way down through the air and to the ground. So I was once myself a swinger of the branches, and so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of consideration, and life is too much like pathless wood, where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it, and one eye is weeping from twigs having lashed across it open. I'd like to get away from the earth a while, and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate wilfully misunderstand me, and half grant what I wish and snatch me away, not to return. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to get better. I'd like to go climbing a birch tree and climb black branches up the snow-white trunk toward heaven till the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good, both going and coming back. One could do worse than being a swinger of birches. So there were a lot of those heavy B sounds. In that one, another very famous example is the Peter Piper riddle. Not riddle, sorry. Nursery rhyme. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? I'm terrible with these. She sells seashells by the seashore is another one. Basically, alliteration is just reusing those same sounds and catching the ear with them, creating rhythm or creating tongue twisters or just involving your audience in a fun way. And allusion is when you write and you are referencing something that has come before you. Some really famous examples would be to say the ship sank like the Titanic, his opponent was looking for his Achilles heel to beat him. Um, do, 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 do. Blake's fellow students called him Einstein for his genius. Uh, the young writer was rightly called Shakespeare of the modern times. So you're making a reference to something that has already been written. A lot of times these are biblical references, these are mythological references, or these are pop culture references, which is kind of cool. And the poem example for this is also Robert Frost. This is Nothing Gold Can Stay. This is one of my favorite poems, the very first poem I ever used for Poem in Your Pocket Day, which is coming up soon. And this poem alludes to the Garden of Eden. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leafs of flower, but only so an hour, then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief, so dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. Alrighty, guys, I hope that you are enjoying National Poetry Writing Month or Camp NaNoWriMo or April or whatever brought you here. I hope you are doing well. As always, leave your poems in the comments below and click the link to check me out on other platforms. And happy writing, everyone. I'll see you again tomorrow with more poetry and workshops.